Thank you for listening to this PodcastOne production. Now available on Apple Podcasts, PodcastOne, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.
PodcastOne presents the Steve Austin Show Classics.
All right, I'm coming back with Josh Barnett, the War Master, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the future of MMA and specifically about UFC. But let's talk about when you first started real quickly. You were known as the Babyface Assassin. Mm-hmm. You have since evolved into the War Master. How did the Babyface Assassin come about? Was that your creation?
No. Well, see, that's the thing is that in general, in fighting, you don't get to pick your nickname. It's given to you, and that's the way.
Every now and then, some asshole will just pick their own nickname,
Yeah.
you know? But, yeah, to your point, most time you don't just pick your own nickname.
And you can always tell who did it.
Yeah.
I'm the ultimate assassin destroyer.
Yeah, that's somebody that picked your own nickname.
Yeah, really. Your coach said, man, this guy's the ultimate assassin destroyer. Fits.
Yeah.
He's the embodiment of all of that. He is the most perfect male specimen, bone all the ladies, and punch every face in the world, Mr. Wonderful.
So how'd you get the Babyface Assassin?
I didn't have a nickname, really. I had a football nickname, Big Papa the Run Stopper, but when it came to, I won this tournament in Super Brawl 13, this big heavyweight tournament with guys from all over the world, all these unsigned champions and guys from all these other promotions, and I beat them all. And I was this 21-year-old kid, and I was blonde hair, baby faced. I looked every bit of 18 at the time. I went back to fight Dan Severn, one of my idols growing up as a fighter, also a worker and a shooter at the same time. And between the promoter TJ Thompson and my trainer Matt Hume, they came up with the baby-faced assassin. So at first I'm like, what? Oh, what the? Oh man, come on! Oh.
You wanted something cooler?
Ultimate assassin destroyer, man. So we get through that, and it's like, well, I just embraced it. That's just the way it goes. But after a point in time, I ain't so goddamn baby-faced anymore.
Right.
And you keep getting punched in this thing. How is it supposed to retain its youthful vigor? I guess I'm not moisturizing enough. I need to use a day cream, I suppose. Straighten my nose out again might help. But basically, once you start seeing gray in your pubic hairs, then you need to start changing things.
You're starting to get old.
So this band, Bolt Thrower, who I've become quite good friends with, I use their entrance music for when I fight, and they have an album called War Master, and they dubbed me the War Master, and they were on their website and things and talking about me winning my fights and calling me the War Master, and so they gave me the nickname the War Master, so I just changed it over.
Just swapped it over. That gave you the credence to make the transition.
At the same time, it's not that I had anything against the Babyface Assassin, but I feel that's a part of my past, and it's not just a part of my past physically in terms of just being older. It's a part of my past is not exactly that guy anymore.
Well, yeah, that, but I mean, as
hey, you're not stunning.
I'm not stunning anymore. I'm not the ringmaster anymore. I end up being Stone Cold, and now I'm just back to Steve Austin. But I mean, you have that that transition, that evolution. I mean, and much the vein is that Metallica changed their music at a set point.
Oh my God!
Oh no! Did I piss you off because I said Metallica changed? You're one of those guys, aren't you?
It's a good thing all I got is this bottle of water and not a can of whoop ass right now.
Are you one of those guys that hated the change?
Yeah. In fact, I'm the kind of guy that will listen to music off of the Black Album, but I don't own that son of a bitch. I don't. I have my.
Did it anger you that much? Did it anger you that much?
It didn't anger me that much. I was just like, I don't want anything to. I'm not into
You didn't
this.
like that change?
No, I did not. I felt it was a terrible direction to go in. However, I will say this much: I'm not just going to hate on Metallica for what I felt was shitty music at the time.
Right.
That was theirs to make, and for them, they have their reasons and whatever it was. I'm sure there was points in their life that helped made that. You know what? I don't like that music, but I still love Metallica. I don't turn my back on Metallica because they made a bunch of albums I didn't like.
Do you think they were at a point where creatively I guess that, maybe they wanted to. I don't know. Is it grow or expand or try something new? I would like to be able to tell you exactly what that is, but I'm not a musician. Or do you think it was stepping into a different direction and seemingly working smarter rather than harder? Because I mean, how hard and how long can you play that shit?
Yeah, I mean, some of it could have been working smarter. I mean, they were still playing fast music, but it had a structure that was more radio friendly. It made more sense based on the Black Album was the progression. Well,
but maybe not as physically demanding from my standpoint.
Hard to say. I mean,
yes, no.
Fuel is a pretty fast song.
Yeah, but I mean, not a whole album's worth.
Well, they still would have to go to concert, and still they'd have to play.
Yeah, indeed.
They'd still play. Well, I think, as far as I know, Metallica ends every concert with Am I Evil? So that's 7 minutes of
pure hell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just basic power chords. It's not the hardest thing in the world to play.
Right.
But for whoever was in their ear, the idea of, well, we're getting real success and seeing a lot of popularity and moolah from this Black Album. So why don't we keep moving along in this vein somewhat, and let's soften our image up a little bit, and who knows what they're going through in their lives at the time. And hey, I went to the Big Four out in Indio. I had a blast. I loved it. I was enjoying seeing Metallica play live immensely, and seeing them do Creeping Death and Sanitarium. It's amazing. But when it comes to Metallica,
right,
I own And Justice for All and Before, and that's it.
You a big Slayer fan?
A big Slayer fan.
What did you think about Jeff Hanneman dying?
Man, that's a real bummer. I'm friends with Kerry King and
I am
Aisha
too.
King.
You probably know him better than I do.
I've seen your you got that cardboard cutout in the bathroom, and I've seen where you signed it. My signature's in there amongst that mess somewhere.
How long have you known him?
Few years.
Yeah.
A few years. I met him around, and we had a bunch of mutual friends, and just got to know him, and met Aisha and became close. Me and Aisha are fans of not only art and literature and all that. We're also fans of architecture and design in terms of modern furniture design and architecture.
Yeah.
So we go on and on and on. In fact, that first time I went to their house, I walked in and I looked at their big they had that big black couch with the buffalo hide on it, and I looked and I go, "It's Roche Bobois, isn't it?" And she just looked at me and she was stunned, and she's like, "I love you. You're my favorite person ever."
Yeah.
And so, anyways, with Jeff, I hung out with him a few times, and it's just I don't think anybody really saw it necessarily going that direction. But Jeff had a hard time, and obviously because Gary Holt from Exodus was going on tour to play for him in his place. So I don't believe it was a choice personally made. I think it was just a necessity to keep things going.
I reached out to Kerry King the other day. I sent him a text, checking in with him. I hadn't talked to him in a while. It's not like we call each other all the time. I met the guy a couple of times. See about being on the show. And he texted me back there in Rome.
Yeah.
And coming back on July 2nd. And so, the show doesn't stop. The show never ends. The show must go on.
No.
So,
and, I love how people want to rail on Kerry King so fucking hard.
Is he taking some heat?
Bury him.
Why?
Well, you can Google it, plenty of stuff. They blame him for all kinds of things, and I don't necessarily want to get into all the personal politics of all of Slayer or anything. But I tell you what, Kerry King loves Slayer. Kerry King is passionate about Slayer, and he is, from all I've ever known about the man, he wants to play music. He wants to keep Slayer going. He wants to continue to make albums and to have the band. And he played me the new stuff that they're working on. I've stayed the night at his house plenty of times, and we just talk music every now and again.
Yeah.
And watching Kerry talk music is watching somebody talk about something that they really absolutely love.
Right.
And hearing all the old stories about Slayer, where they come from, how he made all the spikes and everything for all their leather crap, all the stuff that they're wearing, like couldn't go out and buy that. So Kerry would have to go and find all the leather stuff and make it and get the punches and the spikes and the studs and make all the upside down crazy crosses and spikes and nails and all these crazy things. And he had to do it all himself, you know. And, you know, these kids from L.A. getting their band together and doing the best they could to be fast and loud. And, you know, I remember I was talking to him about Show No Mercy, the first album, and I go, man, you can hear so much of how much you guys dug Venom on this album. He just laughed, you know. He's like, yeah. You know, I just listened to it, and it's amazing. And I sit back at times, and you're friends with these people, but there's this, to me, there's this, I start to feel like a mark at times. Like,
right.
I love hearing this stuff and to hear this amazing story about something that I grew up with. I had a tape with Seasons in the Abyss on one side and Rust in Peace on the other. And I listened to that for every wrestling match and every football game. You know, War Ensemble was my jam. That got me going like a madman.
Back in the day, I was in Dallas, Texas. I was just breaking into the wrestling business, and it might have been the Seasons in the Abyss tour, because that would have been about 88, 9-ish.
88 and 89, yeah.
Right in that era, and I was working security for one of their concerts way back in the day, Dallas Metroplex Arena. It was wicked. It was a hell of a time. I never thought things would end up like they did, and for them to have such a hellacious run and spend so much time on the road and create the following that they have, and to be in the Big Four. With those other three bands, but when you're pretty active as far as going to concerts and stuff like that. Now, I know who you are, but you just seemingly to me, I can blend into a crowd somewhat, and somebody knows who I am, they do. You could kind of blend into a crowd. I mean, you're a big drink of water. What are you, 6'4", 260?
6'3", 256.
Does motherfuckers ever fuck with you in a mosh pit or start getting sideways with you?
I did have one guy act like a dick to me at an Anthrax show.
Now, how do you handle that with a guy with your background, a guy with your knowledge and skills? What happens?
Well, I'm standing there with a girl, and she trains jiu-jitsu too, and we're standing at this Anthrax show, and the people keep trying to get by where we're at, and I'm just thinking, man, there's a fucking girl here, like, just be respectful. And so it gets to the point I'm like, I'm sick of this shit. So I stand and I put my elbows out. I'm standing there and she's in front of me, and I make sure that if you try to go cut through where they were going, they have to go around. Just be polite. And people bump into me a little bit. They try to push, and no, you ain't getting there. Sorry, ain't happening. And some guy keeps trying to push through, can't get it, and finally goes around the other side, and he starts jaw-jacking at me. Hey, man, I said I was doing it. And I go, hey, man, you see there's a girl right here. I'm sitting here. You can just go some other direction. Yeah, well, I'm just trying to get. I go, man, I can't. I said, excuse me. I can't fucking hear you. Anthrax is playing. Plus, I don't want to pay attention to you when they're playing, Time up on stage, or I Am the Law. Fuck off. So he starts getting all. I'm like, why don't you just keep moving along? And he gives me this sideways look and starts getting huffy. I look at him, and I start smiling, and I go, come on, go ahead. Start talking to him like he's a little kid. Move on. Go ahead. Move along there. He's like, you want to... I go, what do you want to do about it, Why don't you just... You got by. Go ahead. Do your thing. Move along, buddy. He's like... And he starts looking at me crazy and all this, and I'm like... I just started laughing. And at some point, I guess he was trying to, like, make a fist, and the girl reaches out, and she grabs a hold of him. She goes... You really don't want to do that. And he's looking at me, and I'm eyeballing him. I'm just laughing. I'm smiling. And I just nod over to the other side of the, like, go ahead, move along now. And he just fucking tucks up his shit and keeps going.
That's a motherfucker right there on his end.
Yeah, and I'm just laughing the whole time. Like, really? Do you want to get into it? I don't really have a problem. So if that's what you want to do, let me move her off to the side, and I'm going to fuck you up.
Okay, but what's the liability on that? I mean,
there's a lot of liability, I'm sure, but I'm not the kind of person that can just sit back and be disrespected.
That being said, with the liability that comes along with it, and you're a pretty goddamn nice guy in person. And now once the bell rings or whatever happens, and obviously the war zone that you go into is a whole different ballgame, but to say something like that goes down, I mean, you got a cat, no skills,
or who knows what.
Or who knows?
That's what I look at in a street
right.
fight. I mean, that would be part of my defense. Is man, I don't know this guy from Adam. I don't know anything about this dude. I don't know what he's got on him. I don't know where his friends are. I don't know what's going on. All I know is this guy had the opportunity to do something and avoid conflict altogether.
Right.
But instead, he deliberately chose to engage into conflict and to try and not only do that, but try to disrespect me in a public setting and try to take away from who I am. And, you know, basically, don't start nothing, there won't be nothing. And the thing about that is I don't look to get into fights, but also people really don't want to fight.
Right.
And they don't want to fight a person that doesn't give a shit and doesn't mind fighting.
That's a dangerous person.
And I've had people say stuff to me or whatever, and I remember looking at a guy and being like, well, how many friends you got? And I look back and I'm like, that ain't enough. And that's it. They don't want none.
Right.
Or telling a guy, you don't know anybody that knows anybody that knows anybody that knows anybody that can kick my ass, so I don't know who the hell you're going to call. You're fucked. You know? So you look a guy in his face, and when it's just like, let's do it, man. Let's go. I'm glad you asked. They're done. They don't want anything to do with it. They don't want any part of being in a fight. People want to pick on people or fight people, those that they think that they can win or aren't going to be too much trouble. And they see a guy that just that's more than willing and happy to do so. They're like, yeah, forget it. It's just not worth it. I would have kicked his ass, though.
But just let's do, some of the things that you were laying down over the last, minute and a half were just bits and pieces of some awesome promo shit, which could be cut, which leads me to the question, looking at you, I mean, you're 35 years old.
Yep.
You're still in your prime.
Yeah.
I mean, just looking down the road, I mean, whether it's 3, 5, 7, 9 years, and let's keep it realistic. But you in the Octagon, UFC, or whatever promotion you're with, once that time was up, once maybe your thirst was quenched in that world, or it's time to move on, would you consider a run in the business of professional wrestling?
Would I go to New York, basically, is what you're asking?
Yes, you'd have to go to New York.
Yeah, of course. I mean, New York is pretty
It's the show.
Yeah.
It always has been.
So, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to do it. I would like to do it just for the sake of working over there, working with some of those guys. I know it would be different for me because of being... at the same time, I don't think they would want me to not parlay that shooting into my gimmick, whatever.
Oh,
I do.
absolutely, you would have to.
Maybe they would be into... When I first wrestled in New Japan, and I just got onto the scene, I had no formal training. I just wrestled, freestyle, Greco, all that, shoot training, all that. And to me, people are like, how'd you manage that? And I go, the movement part was easy. I already knew how to fall.
Right.
I knew how to took bumps. They'd show me that, and like I took wrist clutch exploders on my head in my first match I ever did against Yuji Nagata in front of 50,000 people for the New Japan IWGP title. And people are like, man, that hurt? And I go, nah, not really. You just got to know how to go with it. But moves are easy. Anybody can learn moves. It's learning how to sell, tell a story, how to work with a person, how to flow out there, how to the timing, all of that, how to recognize what's going on with the crowd.
When you watch the game today, and you grew up being a fan of pro wrestling, what do you see? Do you currently watch the product in WWE?
No, but that's not because I have anything against it so much. It's just I don't have cable or anything like that anymore. All I ever watch is Netflix and internet streamed.
And a lot of people are heading that way.
Yeah.
But with that being said, in the game of professional wrestling, you grew up as a big fan.
I have been watching. I'm familiar because I used to train Harry Smith on the regular.
Right.
So I'd be at the shows and I'd get to hear about how it all goes.
But with the product in the ring, and like when you were going to Japan and working your pro matches over there, basically, a lot of contact, not too much separation. You guys working very snug. It's not like you have to call in high spots, running, ricocheting off the ropes.
Right.
Could you feel like that would be an easy transition for you to incorporate that part into what you could do from a work standpoint, because that would be the only thing that you haven't done?
I could make it happen. I could make it work. And even guys, when I'm doing my shoot stuff, I teach people how to take it safe. I tell them, hey, you do this, we're all good. It's just like, but it's also the same way of, and in terms of running ropes, when I first went to New Japan, I deliberately did not run ropes, never ran ropes, because I was a shooter gimmick, a shoot wrestler guy. So I'm like, you try to throw me in the ropes, I hook them every time.
Right.
You whip me, I reverse it. You're not throwing me ever. And I used to have a great one. You
That's
corner
good
me.
shit. Yeah.
You corner me. You hit me in the turnbuckle. Boom, work me over. Blah blah blah. You try to whip me out of the. You go to whip me. I'd reverse right into a flying armbar on a guy.
Right.
And Nakamura uses that shit now. I gave it to him. I said, go ahead, use it.
Yeah.
But
he was nice enough to ask.
I
Or you
told
just
him he
bestowed
could
it
have
upon
it.
him.
I said,
Gotcha.
go ahead.
Yeah, because so many times someone will steal a gimmick and it's like, hey. Now, to a point, no one, only a few select people really invented anything in pro wrestling. It's all been borrowed or stolen.
That's true.
But at least someone had, you had the forethought or foresight to say, go ahead.
Yeah, you can have this one. Or
Yeah.
I told him, do it and transition into a triangle instead, so it's a little different.
Right.
But nobody was taking my finisher. I know that. I created my own finisher.
What was your finish?
I'm a big fan of Akira Maeda as a worker. He was a New Japan guy, a shooter, all this stuff, and he was known Nanatsu suplex, 7 suplexes, man. He'd bridge and just chuck people all these different ways. So I had my own 7 suplexes, and one of them was he was famous for the captured suplex. So underhook the leg, wrap around the head, lock your hands. So it's like you're standing with a kind of a cradle on a guy, and then you suplex him straight over the top. You can turn with it, where then it kind of looks more like a power slam. But I like it if you hit it right and you bridge hard. Their head will tuck, and they'll go over, and it looks more like a full arc suplex.
Looks
instead.
phenomenal, but it's safe.
So I did a variation. So in Japan, in the 90s, with the women, All Japan women, and the Super Junior, man, they're doing all these head drops like nobody's business. And All Japan Pro Wrestling with Dr. Death, and well, hell, if I ever go to New York, I'll have to work with Johnny Ace, and all these guys, dumping, and Gary Albright. Boy, I loved watching him work. They're burying people on their noggins. So I came up with captured Buster, a straight down version. So I'd hook a guy up in the same way. Hook them all the way straight up vertical, and then sit out and drop them straight on their head. And there's some good shots of me, legs splayed out, and I've got them hooked up. I got a hold of their head, and I got a hold of their leg, dropping them midair, from about 6 feet up. Look pretty good.
You're listening to another classic episode of The Steve Austin Show, only on PodcastOne.
You own or rent your home? Sure you do, and I bet it can be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com. I was just sitting there while you were talking, and I was thinking about you in New Japan, and someone sent you the ropes, you would hook the ropes.
Yeah, well,
but that's a great. But that'd be a great way as you. We're talking 3, 5, 7, 9. We're talking down the road.
Yeah.
But if you were to go to New York, but you start off doing what you're saying, never hit the ropes, and then 6, 9, 12 months in, then you keep hooking, you keep reversing, but then all of a sudden you start incorporating 1 and 2 stage spots in just to take it to another level. But it's just the transition. And, of course, you're working the brain the whole time. It's a planned process, but that would be phenomenal. I wouldn't even think about it.
I wouldn't climb the turnbuckles.
Yeah.
In fact, before.
When you do, though,
it's
God
a big
damn,
deal.
this motherfucker's going crazy now.
So I missile drop kick Bobby Lashley in a match just because I'm like, I want to do it. That's just it. I never done it before. I want to do it, and I thought it'd be fun. But
how was you landing? Now, a missile drop kick. This is a big guy. He's 6'3", 256 precise pounds. Jump to the top of the turnbuckle, jump off with a drop kick, and then you're going to fall on the canvas.
Yeah.
So I'm explaining that to my people who don't know what a missile drop kick is. It's just basically a drop kick off the top turnbuckle. How'd that feel hitting that canvas?
Not so bad, but it did mess. It lifted all the boards up underneath and rolled them up on top of each other, right in the center of the ring, and yet we still had more stuff to get in there. So
wasn't like you just stopped the match and repaired the ring, could you?
No. So I just get over there and I start beating on Bobby, and Bobby reverses, and he beats on me back, and I reverse him. Boom, set him up, hit him with a big sit-out power bomb. but I have to move everything off over to the right a little bit, and I've got to stay away from the apron, but got to keep him somewhat near the center and make sure that he doesn't take a bump on that pile of wood that's rolled up underneath that.
But
that
still
mat.
try to stay in the sweet spot of that ring.
Yeah,
whatever
trying to
you
do
can
the
make
best,
of it.
make it safe for him, because Bobby he's like not letting people pick him up and throw him around and slam him and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, how about we'll put this match together? I'm like, do this, and boom, I'll set you up, and then I'll you can take a powerbomb, right? And he's just looking at me like, oh, I could do it, but what the fuck makes you think I want to? I look at him, I'm like, Bobby, don't sweat it, man. I have done way crazier shit to people, landed them all 100% safe. You are not going to get hurt. I am not going to let you get hurt. And he's just like, oh, really? Like, trust me, man. He's like, man, I don't know. Okay. And you of all people know what it's like to when you go out there and you do some of these big moves, there's a lot of trust involved.
Damn right,
a lot.
Is.
And in your case, I mean, you were with one of the best guys out there, but anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can and will happen, you know?
Yes.
And so, but even when I jumped up on that turnbuckle, I couldn't just climb it like Macho Man and get up there and throw my fingers up in the air or snooker and like, I couldn't do any of that stuff. I had to look shoot-esque, at least in my application. So I bumped the crap out of Bobby and I immediately hopped the ropes, exactly right on top. I had to take no time to do it, whatsoever. But before that, the only other time I had ever jumped off the turnbuckles was a complete mistake. Me and Nakanishi were working Yoshie, and I forget who else in New Japan. I busted Yoshie into a corner, ran in, gave him a jumping knee, and I hit him, and I floated all the way over the top and landed on the apron on the other side. And so now I'm there, and he's selling in the corner, and I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck to do at this point. So I'm looking at him, and his back's to me now, and so I'm thinking, well, I could give him a calf branding, like Terry Funk, but I ain't never done that, and I don't know, I don't really trust myself, stick my knee on the back of this guy's neck and do this. So I'm like, fuck it. So I jumped up on top of the top ropes, jumped off, spun around, and gave him a chop on top of the head. Everybody started. I could hear the crowd laughing about it, and even I wanted to lose it. I thought it was hilarious, but
did he sell it?
Yes, he did. Of course he did. Of course he did. Man, you get out there and you blow a kiss at me, I'll sell it.
Yeah.
If it's right.
How are you feeling right now from a physical standpoint? How long have you been fighting all totaled up now?
This will be 16 years.
Man, what's the story? Future of MMA, and let's make a long story short because I don't like to talk. I just want to keep it on the light side, but on the real side as far as this goes. Man, the guys out there taking a lot of damage. Man, some of those head kicks. I mean, these guys, the techniques just keep, getting better. I mean, the fighting game keeps evolving. Guys are getting hit harder and harder. Where's the sport going? Is it going to be a thing that ends up like the NFL with class action lawsuits because guys are getting loopy from brain damage and all this other stuff? When they retire, is there going to be anybody to help take care of them? Where's the sport heading?
Well, MMA and pro wrestling have had a link together from the very beginning, and it's undeniably so. In the same, also in that, man, we're in for ourselves. We're independent workers. That's just the way it goes. And there will probably be lawsuits of some sort down the line, and all sorts of things are going to come maybe within the next 10 years. But that's everybody signs the line knowing what they're getting into. And hey, I used to fight no holds barred, and I liked it that way. Headbutts and head stomps and all that stuff. And people go, that's nuts. It's too crazy. I go, look, man, I liked it because that was the most dynamic environment and the way that allowed you to have the most freedom of expression out there, to be perfectly honest. And I like having the less rules, the better. The more you can just go out and do what you got to do, and not worrying about, did I turn my hand to the left when you can only turn it to the right? Now I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, what's going on? So And, not worrying so much about people trying to finagle the rules to a level that it's like, well, the spirit of the rule is to prevent from this thing happening. But we never broke down every single instance and what could happen with this. And so someone figures out a way to, okay, I'm just going to, well, you didn't write that you couldn't do this. And they just like, okay, you're an asshole. You're just.
Yeah, but just long-term effects in general.
Well, long-term effects, people are going to be beat to hell. That's just the way it goes. We're punching and kicking each other, not only in the ring, but we're in practice all the time. And honestly, the people's athletic windows are short anyways. The fact that I got a 16-year career has something to do with genetics, I imagine, training. But my training in terms of having the skills out there and being a very skilled fighter and having a vast and varied skill set, that is why I'm still around and why I'm still a top 10 fighter and still beating the hell out of people, because I'm not trying to just out-athlete everybody. I can look at a guy and break him down and see what he's doing and take him apart piece by piece in whatever discipline is necessary. A lot of these kids nowadays, they're just really good athletes. They're strong in certain suits, and that's all they got. And the minute they lose a little bit of a step, someone figures out their rhythm, whatever may have you, or little injuries catch up, they're done. They're over. They'll never be champ. They'll never be at that level ever again. It's like they try dropping weight classes and whatever, and then eventually they just have to throw it all in, because at the end of the day, they just actually don't even have the skills, the deep toolbox that some other fighters may.
My take on anything is, man, you know what you're getting into. You got to be smart enough to accept what you're getting into. I have a tremendous amount of respect for the NFL because I'm a huge football fan. But surely, even though we didn't know as much about concussions back in the day, when you get your bell rung, and it's not a good thing. And so there's been a lot of science, since then to now. And you got a lot better diagnosis and prognosis and everything else that goes with it. But going back to my line of work, in the business of pro wrestling, I knew that I wasn't going to feel the same once I got out of it.
Of course.
And I don't. It changes. It changes you mentally and physically. But I guess, I asked you your point of view because I wanted to hear it. But my point of view on anything is you always get, whatever you do, it's going to catch up to you.
Yes.
And so I think people...
life catches up to people.
Life catches up to people. I mean, it goes from the same token of a heavy drinking, heavy drugs. That shit will catch up to you.
You sit in a chair every day at this job, and it's the wrong kind of chair, whatever. Eventually, your back sucks and whatever. And, man, I'd rather have my back suck because I'd German suplexed, 10,000 people than because I sat in a chair all day long. That's a shitty way to go. I wouldn't be happy with that. And it's just like, well, whatever we do, we expect that we could die from this. I could get punched and I could have an aneurysm or something, and that's it, man. I could get in the ring, go work a match, get a reverse pile driver, and that could be the end of it.
Oh, you want to go back, and man, I want you to come back on the show because I can talk to you forever. But I want to ask you a few more things. Going into a match, and your record, if we're going to talk records, is what? 38-6 or
30. I think sanctioned bouts are 35-6 or 38-6 or something like that. All unsanctioned combined, it's over 50-6.
Okay, but I mean
something like that.
Pretty much, you win damn near every fight you're in.
Yeah.
And anybody can lose. We know that. But you're you're ready to go in there and do or die, accept whatever happens. Man, when I've seen you win your fights and you do that thing across your throat. I mean, it's pure emotion and, to me, dominance and hatred. I mean, it's the climax. The climax happens, but then you're feeling it and you're living it right then. What happens when you're to you inside when you're on the reverse of that, the loss?
It never leaves. Never, ever leaves. Never goes away. I can think about the fights I've won where I could have done this or that or whatever. If I feel like there's something I missed out on, doesn't leave. I don't forget it. And being on the other side of that is a shitty, shitty feeling, man. It's one of the worst in the world, to be honest, because there's nothing you can do about it. It's over. That time limit has expired, and that's all you got. And you just don't want it to end. You just want to keep going and see it all the way. But, ain't going to happen that time. And it's low. And there has to be a system that a person has to work through that. It's really important. And if you're being completely subjective and you remove all emotion from it, honestly, you got in the ring, there is a lot to be taken from that. And there is substantial opportunity within everything that happened before the fight, in the fight, after the fight, that you could take to make yourself a better fighter, bar none. And if you can get yourself to that point, if you can throw away all the emotional aspect of it or what you lost here and that, and if you throw all the extraneous bullshit aside, you have, say, 15 minutes worth to go through and make yourself greater than you were before you got in that cage. That's the most important part about it. Winning, losing, whatever. If you're not doing something to be better the day you wake up and the day you went to bed than the day before, then I don't know what you're doing, man. You're just lollygag. You're sitting around. You're dying a slow death. And we can't always be perfect and always do what is necessary to make us better. But we got to keep that mind going. We got to keep that attitude.
After defeat, how long will it take you to return to normal, or as normal as you can be, let's say?
It all depends, you know. It really can.
But back in the gym then, back in motion.
I like getting back in the gym. I like getting back in the gym anyways. Although I'll say that with the way the lifestyle is now, with trying to do more in terms of acting and other things and taking advantage of all the extracurricular stuff that comes from the popularity of mixed martial arts, especially the UFC at this moment. And, you know, people want to look at you and be like, well, you should, like, look, man, I gotta, opportunities are abound. I gotta kick these doors open and see what I can get, because this shit isn't going to be here forever. And I need to make sure that when it isn't, I have something that I can do. And at the same time, I like doing things that challenge me. I want to do something that I haven't done before. And I like the difference of doing that, and how I feel like there's things that, like, if I was to go and I had to do a stand-up routine, that'd scare me to death. Right. But the fact that it would scare me to death is the whole reason why I do it in the first place. Just because that's something I'm uncomfortable with. Well, why am I uncomfortable with it? It's because I think I'm going to be terrible and everyone's going to hate me. And it's like, well, why do I really care anyways? You know, it's something for you to work through. You are a guy, you love challenges. You love to overcome things. Obviously, you would love to become the UFC heavyweight champion. What else in life would you like to accomplish? You have aspirations of acting. Anything else that you're pursuing? Any hobbies other than playing the guitar, learning to play the guitar? Passions? I auto race a little bit on the side when I can. I'm actually going to the HRE Wheels open house Saturday. I'm driving my Mustang down there. It's got HRE wheels on it, and it's going to be in the booth for KW Suspension, who sponsors me. Me and Centerforce Clutches are putting together a 68 fastback Mustang for SEMA.
My favorite year.
This year, and already a bunch of great companies have been coming on board to help us out with this. It's going to be going to have a big block, 428 FE in it, 6-speed. It's coming along, and it's going to be a fantastic project. And we have magazines that are already committed to shoot the thing and follow the whole build up, and it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great, and driving it's going to be even better. You know, because I'm not into having cars and just letting them sit around. I want to thrash them. I want to go as hard as I can with it, and you know, I've got an SCCA novice road racing license. I've done some courses. One of my friends is Dayo Shihara, who is the 2011 Formula Drift champion. Yeah. And so he's shown me stuff on the track and drifting things, and I work with him on strength and conditioning and also on his mental preparation for his races, because they're in a tournament bracket style, and they go head to head. And the guy is fantastic behind the wheel. So getting to go out there with him and Chris and Mike Kojima and just screw around in cars on the track all day long, it's a blast. And, you know, going 130, 140, 150 miles an hour in my GT500, it's just I love how that focus narrows down.
Right.
And it's a lot, and I can relate to how that feels to being in the ring. That there is no try, there is only do, as Yoda would say.
When you're going that fast, when you're focusing that fast, I'm certainly not a professional at that, or even I wouldn't say my skills are great at driving fast. When I do on the freeway, when I decide to go ahead and open it up, boy, my heart starts beating like a motherfucker. When you're out there doing your race thing, I mean, is the adrenaline charging hard? Is your heart pumping? Or are you now, because you've been doing it for a while, like you said, you have your SCCA license thing, with the skill set that you possess now, is everything in slow motion or normal motion?
It depends on how often I'm on the track. Like if I just got into my car right now and just started hitting laps,
Heart start
oh
racing?
yeah, I mean, there'd be some adrenaline there.
Yeah.
But the more you get behind the wheel, and the more you're just. I remember I did for my SCCA course, we had to do a 40-minute race door to door with a bunch of other cars, and I remember at first, and this was all in the rain too, feeling that adrenaline, hitting you. But eventually, you just start relaxing. Your eyes are up, your ears are open. You're checking all your gauges. You're checking your mirrors. You're checking, who's around you, and splitting the windshield. And you're just focused on, being at the right speed, entry and exit speeds, hitting your apexes, and being in the right gear, and just hitting consistent laps over and over and over again, getting faster and faster and faster. And obviously, the more intense, the higher the level of racing.
Right.
I mean, if you stuck me in a World Challenge car, oh my God, yeah, I'd be really sweating. But it gets to a point, you just get in the car and you go, all right, I'm going to go out, I'm going to race, I'm going to do this. I did the Baja 1000 last year, and I have absolutely no off-road experience whatsoever.
You drove it?
Yeah. Those cars, the buggies that we were in, handle nothing like a road race car.
How physically challenging was that?
It was monstrously challenging. I didn't know anything about kidney belts either. So, man, I felt like I was in a 35-round heavyweight boxing match and I lost.
Dude, when you're in a 1,000-mile race, you don't pull over and take a piss, do you?
You got a catheter, and you just,
right.
You roll it, you run it down your leg, tape it to your shoe, and you just piss on the floorboard and it goes out.
That's it.
But I was terrible at it. But so all it made me, and I'm not. I'll admit I'm not even the biggest fan of. I'd rather be on asphalt hauling ass than I would be off road. But the challenge of it, because I did poorly and I wasn't good at it. I didn't like that. It didn't sit well with me. All it made me want to do was go do it again.
Are you a NASCAR fan at all?
I don't really dig it a whole lot, but I do respect the drivers, the cars, the engineering. Oh man, it's grueling what those guys go through. 180 miles an hour for 500 miles. That's insane.
You've been living here.
Yeah.
You've been living here in L.A. for now what? Going on 10 years?
No, not quite that long.
But 8.
I've been down here quite a bit. Yeah.
How's L.A. life for you?
I love L.A. I really do.
What do you love about it?
I like the diversity of it. How you can find so much and of different things in this whole area. I grew up in Seattle, and that's a fantastic city.
Absolutely wonderful.
And it's got everything from anywhere in the world just about you can get. It's a port city, just like Los Angeles is. But there's something about L.A. I love it when I hear people just hate the shit out of it because of the fake and the pretentiousness and all that. And I go, oh yeah, there's a lot of that. I mean, you can cut right through that bullshit real quick. You really can. In fact, if you're living here, if you're spending any decent amount of time in LA, then you immediately start finding what's real and if you want to be around fake and bullshit and pretentious, then you're choosing to do so.
But that being said, I mean, when you come to L.A., at first you just come to L.A., but then all of a sudden your bullshit sniffer really increases, or you're a dumb motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you're able to pick this shit apart. But
well, hey man, you're a worker. You had to know that shit from a mile away.
Yeah.
Before you even landed, you started hitting the fumes or hitting your nostrils, and you're like, man, I'm not getting duped today.
That fake and pretentious stuff, it goes with the territory. It's going to exist at some level in any place you go. Mm-hmm. But certainly in the world of entertainment here, the vanity and all the horse shit, tons of it. But, that goes with the territory. What else? I dig the weather here.
There's great food, the weather.
Yeah.
There are, fantastic cultural landmarks that exist.
Do you get out and see all the sights?
I get out and I see quite a few of them. You know, I've been at Griffith Park. You know, I love downtown LA and all these old. I've been to some of the buildings down there that they filmed scenes from Blade Runner at. And, you know, that's my favorite film of all time. So checking that out was amazing. I've been to the old brewery. I've been to the Pier on Santa Monica. And I've been up and down the beach cities. I've been here and there, and I've been near the Hollywood sign.
Do you get in the water and do any surfing?
I do not. I'm not. I don't have anything against the beach culture, but it just never really vibed with me. It was never really my thing. You know,
me neither. I don't give a shit about laying on the sand. I'm fair skinned anyway, but I can go. My wife can lay on the goddamn beach all day long, and me, I'm there for 10 minutes. I'm like, man, I'm going.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm over it. I want to go and do something. I want to go somewhere. And I'm from the beach culture down here is radically different from, you know, Seattle. Seattle is also it's a city on the ocean, on the water, but we're up north and we're fishing. We're, you know, grizzled sailors, and the water's colder. The environment is entirely different. The beaches are way different. You know, you can surf out there, and in the summertime we go out in the beaches and jump in the water, but it's not warm. It's still cold. Even it's still 60 or it's still like 50 degrees in the summertime or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different from being the Southern California, loafing around in your sandals and your shorts and tank top and just sort of, hey, whatever, dude, whatever, you know, bumming around and having your surfboard and doing this and just sort of chilling out. Seattle, it's like, oh, we're going to go probably get on a boat. I mean, a guy in Seattle might be like, well, all right, we're going to get on this fishing boat. We're going to head out into the middle of the ocean with huge 60-foot waves or something crazy, and we're going to drop crab pots if we go all the way to Alaska to the Bering Sea, or if we're just trolling for getting salmon, netting them, it's a different thing. A lot of heavy drinking. It's nice and dark up there. It's a little different. I can drink, man. Boy, I can really put it away. I think I drank 2/3 of a bottle of scotch the night I beat Karatanov, and then I drank the rest of it when I woke up the next morning.
I'm sitting here talking to Josh Barnett, one of the toughest human beings I know, and I'm going to come right back with him. We're going to wrap this thing up. We're going to bring it home. The bottom line, talking about drinking, the top 10, and his fight with Frank Mir. Coming back after we take care of a little bit of business.
You're listening to another classic episode of The Steve Austin Show, only on PodcastOne.
Pluto TV is playing the biggest movies every night this summer for free. Watch hit movies like The Matrix, G.I. Joe Retaliation, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Scary Movie, Runaway Bride, and more all summer long. Check out the biggest stars like The Rock, Keanu Reeves, Tom Cruise, Julia Roberts, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and more. Plus, Pluto TV has hundreds of free TV channels in English and Spanish featuring TV shows, news, sports, comedy, and more, all for free. Download the free Pluto TV app on your favorite streaming device, including Android and Apple smartphones. Pluto TV. Drop in. Watch free.
Welcome to the Steve Austin Show.
Before we left off the break, we were talking a little bit about alcohol. And, you know, an elite athlete, obviously, you're living on performance. How much can an elite athlete in a competitive environment like the UFC at the championship level drink?
Bourbon is a performance enhancer, and don't let anybody steer you different.
Man, I lived on Crown Royal for several years at my run in the WWE, but my performance level was a whole different ballgame than what you guys are doing.
Well, you know what? I can just tell you I have had some highlight reel moments liquored up on whiskey. So that's proof enough for me. I've definitely been king of the world. But bourbon.
But going into a fight, I mean, how?
No, I don't drink. I haven't had a sip for weeks now, and it's going to continue that way all camp. And you know, it sucks. We're sitting. Me and my buddy Eric Hammer. He's works for IGF. He's my main training partner. He does my strength conditioning. He's a big old dude. He's like 6'4", 275, and he's also he's a catch wrestling student of mine, and Eric Paulson, and he's the first guy I've ever trained from the ground up to be a worker,
right?
Too. So we're sitting there eating lunch, And the waitress comes by to give him his iced tea, and on her plate, she's got a big frosty mug of beer on there. I don't even know what it is, but it didn't matter.
Yeah.
And I just remember looking at that thing and like, wow, that looks really good. I bet that's refreshing. Like, yeah, not for me. Just move along.
But post fights, you'll lose.
Post fights, man, we tear it up. We burn the place down. If there's anyone left standing by the end of the night, we did a shitty job. And no table unturned.
Right.
No chair unbroken.
Well, let's talk about you. Josh Barnett, shit-faced drunk.
Yeah.
Are you a mean drunk? Are you cool?
Happy drunk. Fun drunk.
Boy, I tell you what, if there's one thing I can't stand, it's one of the most dangerous human beings in the world, being an angry drunk. Because then you got problems.
Wasn't Hawk kind of a mean drunk?
Man, I never ran around with Hawk too much, but yeah, he could get a little ornery.
Oh man, I'd heard stories about him just tearing places apart, and you talk about shooters and guys nowadays like to talk about workers and man, you go to fuck with a guy like Hegstrom, he will tear your arms off and beat you with them.
Let's talk about toughness just for a second. I want to get to the top 10. Who's tougher? MMA fighter, professional wrestler. Now, obviously, we know who's more skilled. That's not what I'm
tougher?
saying. But when we're just talking about pure tough,
that's hard to. You know why that's hard to line up is because you stick a pro wrestler in a fight and you start punching him. It's a different thing. He doesn't know how to be tough in there. And you stick an MMA fighter in a pro wrestling ring, you start chucking that dude around. Yeah, it's one thing to stick him in there and let him do a little song and dance, little bumpity bump here, a little. Fuck that, man. Stick him in there. Stick him in with Warlord and Barbarian. Barb. Let Barb throw him around a little bit. They'll be screaming and crying and trying to get out of that ring so fast. And also the other thing is they'll be thinking I look like the biggest idiot in the world. And just stumbling and stuttering and guys like, or you stick them in there with Steiner, who would just, both of them, make them tag against, it'd be ridiculous.
To me, it's I think there's a mutual respect from each side to the other. And I think it's two different kinds of toughness. I mean, obviously, with the kind of the beat downs that the MMA fighters give and receive, that speaks for itself. From the pro wrestling aspect, trying to take care of each other, but gravity and physics being what they are, crooked landings, bad landings, weeks and weeks and weeks on the road, the grind, always, taking the pounding, and seemingly to me, and at least in MMA fighting off season, you're probably giving more than you're receiving. Would that be true?
No, not necessarily. It just in training's training and.
But not going full force, huh?
We do still. Honestly, I keep sharp, but it does scale down quite a bit, so it's not quite so bad. And then you start spending more time on just skill stuff and lifting and staying healthy. And although when I was younger, man, we used to just go and just fucking bang, 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 bang all the time. I was just getting there. How tough are you? But now
you got to train smarter,
not harder.
Yeah,
smarter, not harder.
And that's like everything is in life. So anyway, both walks of life, I think, require
toughness is toughness. If you're tough, you're
toughness,
tough.
but a different kind of human being. It takes a special human being to get in an octagon, and I think it takes a special human being to want to spend a lifetime on the road. Driving up and down the road doing
even just to get out there and go out and work. The thing is, if all this shit was easy, then everybody would do it.
Well, that being said, when I say specifically about these two walks of life, I mean, I'm not saying that anything else ain't out there tough either. I mean, the guy who's driving that truck down the road and is away from his family, driving 1,000 miles a day, I mean, that's tough in and of itself.
His hemorrhoids.
My buddy who's been laying tile floors for 30 years on his knees. I mean, everything's tough, but just in the grind of what we both do. Let's talk about the top 10 right now, ranked heavyweights in the UFC.
Sure.
Number 10.
Oh, well, I believe Roy Nelson was ranked number 10.
Man, he just had a bad showing against...
Stipe Miocic.
Miocic. I mean, man, he looked really handy and knocking Roy around that ring.
Speed kills, and Stipe is sharp, and Roy not so much. He's just been lugging around, trying to swing on people with a big right hand, and if he can take you down, get on top. But beyond that, he wasn't really offering much else out there, and that's Roy's choice. Roy has been in this game a very long time. I'm sure he possesses a lot more skills than just those two aspects, but he's been able to get by on it.
To me, he just really came in out of shape, and Roy's not a bodybuilder's figure, but Roy can go. I mean, when he went with Junior Dos Santos, all those rounds, and Dos Santos couldn't finish him.
Right.
And he was taking big shots. But Stipe had a hell of a game plan. Obviously in good shape, sharp mechanically, or technically, however you guys would say it, and picked him apart.
Right.
Your opponent at UFC 164 is ranked number 9, Frank Mir.
Yeah, coming off of 2 losses in a row, I think.
You feeling confident going in to 164?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, hell, they've had that guy ranked over me for at times. So, rankings are whatever, man.
I know.
They let people go on about them, but at the same time, there's always at least a little bit part of you. If you're a competitive guy, you want to go ahead and show who's what.
Antonio Bigfoot Silva ranked at number 8.
All right.
How you feel about that?
He just came out of a title fight, so he's got to be a top 10 guy to do so.
Yeah, he's like a Cro-Magnon, man. Just a big dude.
Just massive. Yeah. You wonder, you think if he was allowed to be 300 pounds, how much better would he be in the ring?
Right.
Or not. 265, maybe it's easier on his cardio and speed.
There's a dangerous guy named Josh Barnett at number 7. I've been talking to him for 3 hours. Now, we're not going to get into this cat.
No, he's just,
He's taking care of business.
He's just full of wind, though. We'll see where he ends up.
We're going to see where he's going to end up. It's going to happen at UFC 164. Let's go to Alistair Overeem at number 6.
He had such a run at some point that he's got to find himself in the top 10 there. And I believe that it was his own fault why he lost to Bigfoot. He just kind of threw that fight away, and hopefully he's
You think that was arrogance?
Who knows? It might have been just, I'm tired, I'm gassed, I'm just starting to give in, mental fatigue.
Right. Well, I thought this was a new list because this is indeed an old list because they've got number 5 contender Roy Nelson, and he was just beat by Stipe.
Yeah, Roy is probably down there actually at number 9 or 8, somewhere around there. And Stipe, if Roy's on that list, then Stipe's got to be there too.
Yeah, he certainly has made a charge.
But if Stipe's there, then so is Stefan Struve, because Struve beat Stipe.
Man, that Struve is a tough cat.
He is a tough kid, man. He gets in there and starts slugging it up with folks sometimes, and in range where he's getting hit, he doesn't need to. He's 7-footer.
He is a tough cat. And I remember when I first started watching that guy a couple of years ago, I'm thinking, man, this guy's going to be too tall to do this. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously he has incredible range. He's tough as nails. I mean, the one fight, who was that? The guy that blew his lower lip out.
Oh God, that's right.
He came back to win that fight.
Big tussle, and he's going hard way, and then he comes back and just blasts this kid, knocks him out.
He's got a ton of heart. I'll give him that. Let's go to number 4, Daniel Cormier.
I think that's a pretty accurate position for Daniel since he is just fresh to the UFC. But that guy could be number 1 too.
Yeah, he's got a lot of upside. Fabricio Verdum at number 3.
I would actually put Verdum at 4. And Cormier at 3, if that's going to be the case. I think they were both in the same league before, and Verdum did not achieve the heights that Cormier did.
Gotcha. And moving into the number 2 spot, we have Junior Dos Santos.
Well, he's the former champ. That's where they go.
Number 1, Cain Velasquez.
Cain Velasquez. He's a champ. If he ain't won, then why has he got the belt? You know what I mean?
Right.
He's a tough cat. It's going to take the right kind of guy to beat him. But as you've seen with heavyweights, you can step in the pocket and just swing one big punch, and Cain goes down too.
Yeah, it's always interesting. I just love UFC. I love MMA in general. I love what they're doing over in Bellator. You get a chance to check into that out.
Where would Nikita Koloff, the Russian Nightmare, fit into that list?
Well, I mean, if he's allowed to use the sickle, if the UFC would sanction that move.
Yeah,
right now it's banned.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I've got to talk to Dana about that. I've got some legal people. Nikita called me the other day, and I was talking through a Russian translator. He does want to make a comeback. Yeah, Ivan.
Always his mouthpiece. Keep it in the family. Cousin Nikita.
Hey, we're sitting here. We're starting to turn a bunch of a great conversation into a bunch of bullshit, but we're not going to let that happen. I'm going to have Josh Barnett on at another date. We've been sitting here talking for 3 damn hours. I started off, I put all my damn research together. Things happened. I had to take Hershey to the vet and got tangled up.
What about all the I talked to you on the phone for like an hour, and then before we even got onto this, we talked for about an hour.
Yeah, we were just shooting the shit. And we're just like we're shooting the shit today, but now I'm trying to make points and weave conversations, and then all of a sudden I start talking to you and think, man, this motherfucker's like a rocket scientist. He knows a little bit about everything. So, man, we started off talking about this. We went to religion. We went over here. We started talking about playground shenanigans that, gave you a competitive edge and a chip on your shoulder. And now talking about the UFC. And I know that you would love to sit around at another date and talk more about pro wrestling and things in general.
I think the history of working it's available and it's out there for people to look it up. But I really love showing that other side that I think folks don't quite understand. And because I'm a shooter, I think that when I talk about the toughness and the altercations and things, or even the personal flare-ups between folks in the locker room, that it lends some credibility to some of these newer, younger guys. And I just want folks to understand that not only is this stuff important because of we're entertainers too as professional fighters. In fact, when I go into the ring, I list my style as professional wrestling. They always change it to catch wrestling, which is true too. Yeah. But it's like, no, I want you to put me down as a pro wrestler because that's what I am. I fight for the entertainment of the fans. So I'd love to get that history, that all those cool little anecdotes about working, and we know a lot of the same people. And we've done some similar stuff in terms of being on the road, traveling, and just doing the whole deal, hitting town to town, and it's a pretty special thing.
It is. It's kind of a small circle.
Yeah.
And it's the same in MMA, the same in pro wrestling. I've been talking to Josh Barnett. You can follow him, Josh L. Barnett on Twitter. He's got a big fight coming up. UFC 164, August 31st, Frank Mir. I wish you the best of luck. Looking forward to seeing you again. I appreciate you coming down to my house, driving through the traffic from downtown Los Angeles over here.
Actually, I came all the way from Fullerton.
Fullerton?
Yeah, I left practice immediately, grabbed some food on the road, and just hit the sticks and got going.
Man, I felt bad about you having to sit out in front of my house while I was doing my thing at the vet and leaving you hanging up. And I could hear that tone in your voice. And at one point, it seemed like, it is what it is, but it wasn't like you was that happy about it. Thank you for your patience. I've known you for a long time, and it's not like we talk every day. But now we're going to start, and you got to come back on Steve Austin Show.
Thanks for having me here, man. I look forward to it.
Thank you for joining us for another classic episode of The Steve Austin Show. Please leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and tell your friends. For more Steve Austin Show, go to PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.
Hey, what's up? It's Meta World Peace here. And I got my new podcast, Metaphorically Speaking. We're going to be talking about mental health, basketball, and a lot of tough topics. All that and more with my friends and celebrities. So make sure you check out my podcast, Metaphorically Speaking, every Thursday on Apple Podcasts, PodcastOne, and Spotify.